get on the train and start chugging, okay? So again, I just want to welcome you. My name is Mr. King, and I want to ask you guys, how are you feeling today? But I don't want you guys to tell me using words. I want you guys to use your body and your voice. Now you might ask, Mr. King, how do I use my voice, but I can't say any words? Well, when we're on stage, you don't always have lines, right? When we're in a theater like a play or musical, sometimes we don't have lines in those shows. So you have to figure out how to use your body and your voice to react to things on stage, right? So can everybody just take a stand up from your seats. We're gonna stretch out a little bit, okay? Make sure there's enough space between each person. And we're just gonna go around the room. I will start to give you an example, and we'll just kind of go clockwise. So it'll go me, Riley, Alyssa, so on, okay? All right. And then can you guys also say your name before you do your thing? Okay, so hello, my name is Mr. King, and today I'm feeling woo! All right, ready? You wanna go? All right, and so after each person does the movements, we're going to clap because they are performing for us, right? And we're always the audience in this class, right? So thank you, Riley. Awesome. All right.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and today I'm feeling
Oh, hi, I'm Chad, and today I'm feeling.
Hi, I'm Gunnar, and I'm feeling.
Right.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm feeling today.
Yeah. Stress on the shoulders.
Yes.
We're good. All right.
Hi, I'm Whitney, and I'm also feeling today.
Skin from the end of the week, so I get that too. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lev. I'm feeling
Yeah, I can. Thank you guys. Thanks for sharing. I know it can be a little, awkward in theater classes because we're not used to being so personal and sharing stuff for ourselves. So I want us to get comfortable in here, okay? All right. Before we get into this first unit, I want to go over some learning goals that we'll talk about today. First, we'll go over our unit goals. So our overall unit goal will be students will be able to, you guys are the students, right? Will be able to analyze a theatrical script in order to understand characters, world, and designs. And obviously we'll get more into what that means as we get further into the unit. But for today, we're going to go over two learning goals. Our first one, students will be able to analyze a character using given circumstances. Again, we'll discuss what given circumstances mean, what they are, as we get further in the lesson. And the students will be able to establish character relations to the world of the play using given circumstances. Okay, does anybody have any questions over that? All good? Great, thumbs up? Amazing, all right. Okay, so here's just a little breakdown and overview of the class today. So we're gonna start with an introduction to given circumstances, define and identify given circumstances, practice finding these given circumstances all together as a class, and then breaking out into groups of 2 to 3 to find those on your own, and then sharing that with the class. And then we'll wrap up, and I will sign the out-of-class assignment, okay? All right, so I'm going to have you guys read 2 short passages. They're going to be from the play version and the novel version of Charlotte's Web. So we're going to start out reading the short passage from the play version of Charlotte's Web. The play starts at the scene, and then the novel will pick up where that scene ends in the book, okay? So I'm going to give you guys about 1 minute to go ahead and read this, okay? Can everybody see that, okay? Okay. Can I get a thumbs up when you guys are done reading? You all done? Are you all good, Riley? Are you done? Yes. Okay. Perfect. So now you guys are going to read the short passage from the novel version of Charlotte's Web, so go ahead and take a minute to read that. Well, the first one's going to cut off, but... Gunnar, are you all finished reading?
Yeah.
Perfect, all right. So now, we're going to just compare and contrast these. So, here we have the play version of the script, right? And then we have the novel version. Does anybody have any, similarities that they want to start by sharing? Between the play script and the novel? Yeah, Alyssa?
To start off, the characters are both the exact same, so there still is Wilbur and Charlotte.
Right, so the characters are the same. We have Wilbur and Charlotte in both scenes. They're still talking to each other. Right, awesome. Chad in the back?
Yeah, as well, Wilbur in both kind of seems a little disgusted that Charlotte eats flies and insects.
Right, so in both plays, so Wilbur is discussed with Charlotte's eating insects, so we're seeing that in both adaptations of the material, it has the same general idea, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Riley?
Well, so they're both written in different ways. I'm not just talking about the format.
Huh?
The scene is written more dialogue heavy, with quicker, snappier dialogue, as
Right.
opposed to the book, which of course is written in prose, but also has longer sentences from, say, Wilbur.
Right, so we're seeing that they have, the script version seems to be a lot more dialogue heavy. And this one, there's longer paragraphs of talking and that kind of thing, right? Awesome. So I know Riley kind of got into the differences. Anybody else have any differences to share that they noticed between the script version versus the novel version? Yeah, Whitney.
With the one on the right, it seems to be that Wilbur is more concerned about being Charlotte's friend, whereas the one on the left doesn't really mention that. He's just like disgusted with her eating bugs.
Right, so we see that Wilbur has this thought of like being friends with Charlotte here, but in this one he's more concerned about, you know, what Charlotte to do,
Mhm.
right? Okay, Alyssa?
And part of this has something to do with like Charlotte exiting to like eat her breakfast, but the novel is very much more Wilbur focused and the play is much more even.
Right, so we get a lot more Wilbur's thoughts and ideas in the novel version, whereas in the play we're kind of getting a little bit of everybody. So that's exactly what I wanted to point at. So when we're reading books, we usually get, I know that you guys were talking about perspective in Miss Rachel's class this week, right? And you kind of get those perspectives from those characters in those books. You get their, what I like to call their inner monologue. So in this, we're seeing how Wilbur wants to be friends with Charlotte, and we're seeing what he's feeling about what just happened. But in the play, we don't get that, right? Does anybody know why we don't get that? Or have any ideas, any guesses? Yeah, Alyssa.
Because a play, unless there's a soliloquy or something like that,
Right.
you're watching events unfold, and so you get to decide who you want to pay more attention to or
Right.
anything like that. You're just seeing what happened.
Exactly. So you're just seeing what happens. You're not seeing their thoughts. You're not hearing their thoughts most of the time. Unless, like Alyssa said, there's a soliloquies, an aside, or if there's like a narrator that's translating the character's thoughts and stories. Perfect. Yeah, Riley, do you have something to add?
So that goes into why, well, like one of the reasons why plays with typically more dialogue heavy, because it needs to be, because you don't have those inner monologues to express those thoughts and feelings. So you need to do that through conversation.
Right. So you don't get to express those inner monologues, so you have to do that through conversation. So when we are acting or we're designing, we have to find those inner monologues ourselves, right? Because that's not given to us right away. And it can help us find those inner monologues using the script and material, which I'm going to get into using given circumstances. So, what are given circumstances? Does anybody have a guess if they want to try? If not, that's totally fine. Yeah, Riley, do you have an idea?
Given circumstances are the prior leading events to the scene.
Yes, the prior leading events to the scene. Okay. Chad, did you have something to add?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna kind of take a stab at it and
Yeah.
say it's whatever circumstances like thrust upon the protagonist, so it's basically given to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like these things that are sort of given to them as characters that we find out as we read the play, right? Alyssa, did you have something to throw in?
Yeah, it's also talking about the world of the play, so like
Right.
where they're at, who's involved, like what's the weather like all
Right
different types
on
of
the
things.
nose, Alyssa. So, kind of going in what Alyssa's talking about, we are going to define it real quick. So here's given circumstances. The official definition for given circumstances is the term given circumstances is applied to the total set of environmental and situational conditions which influence the actions that a character in a drama undertakes. Ugh, that's a lot of words that it's kind of confusing, right? So when we're talking about the term given circumstances is applied to a total set of environmental and situational conditions. Let's break this apart. So we have here environmental conditions. What does that mean, environmental conditions? Anybody have a guess? Yeah, Chad?
The setting.
The setting, okay. Anybody else? Okay, so the setting, I know Alyssa mentioned like the world of the play. Those kind of interlude, right? Okay. Situational conditions. Yeah, Alyssa?
It could be like, the relationship to other characters.
Okay.
So if it's like, if you were the protagonist, it would be like, they are a teacher to these students, like that could be a situational thing.
Right, that was a really good comparison. So it's your sort of given circumstances as we're learning about the situation that you're in and how you respond to that situation. Okay, so we're going to go over the 5 given circumstances that we will be able to find in a play. The first one is who. So seems pretty simple, right? It is, who is your character? But we need to go in a little more detail. So who are they? What's their name? What's their age? What are all the defining traits about them? So that can be hair color, their ethnicity, their nationality, all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right. What? This one's kind of tricky because kind of like, what do you mean? What does that mean? So basically, when you are reading, all characters and shows and books and movies, they all have a goal. So it's our job to sort of find out what that goal is and what they're doing to sort of get to that goal, right? So we can break this down scene by scene or by the overall general play or movie, right? Okay. When? This one's pretty obvious, right? When does a scene / play take place? Again, we can get that into a little more detail, so we can go year. We can talk about season. We can talk about, time of day. So is it at nighttime? Is it at daytime? Because, for example, if you are a set designer for a play, and here we're all performers and designers, right? So we are in charge of designing a set, and the script says that the set is located in Antarctica. But if we didn't take the time to research that and find that it was set in Antarctica, and we decided to design a set based in Australia, what would that do? What would that do to you as an audience if you went to see a show that was supposed to be set in Antarctica, but the entire set design looked like it was set in the summer in Australia? It'd be confusing to the audience, right, Lev? Did everybody hear Lev? Lev said it would be confusing. Because when you're going there and you're expecting this, all these characters have these circumstances and they're supposed to be reacting to the Antarctic weather, right? The snow. But it's in the summertime and they're sweating and the scene design is all this messed up. It throws off the story and it makes the audience confused. Okay, moving on. We have where. So where is the scene taking place? Where does the play take place overall? So this is sort of establishing location because location also affects, again, like we were talking about, if it's set in Antarctica in the wintertime, but we make a design in Australia in the summertime, that kind of conflicts with the story and it affects all the characters as well, right? Okay. And now we have our why. So why is this happening? Why are the characters acting the way they are? So it's our job to read in between the lines and figure out why they're saying certain things to the characters. So if we go back to the Charlotte's Web reference, why, why did Wilbur